Howdy doody, ladies and gents. I'm back with daily number 553, where we learn to be a better gamer, and where we crack our neck on air. Who doesn't love this? Who doesn't love this? It's time to do something that, let's be honest, who doesn't love? That's good. That's it. Where we learned to break a better bone structure. Great. In part 1, we did a rapid-fire analysis of a TLO versus White Raw game. I think that I should permit myself to use the faster game speed and not just faster times 2 because I could feel my talking pace quite swift. Before we step into a related game, I want to give a shout out to 2 wonderful viewers. Ahmad713, I accidentally banned you when I meant to just move the Twitch TV window. You're unbanned. I'm sorry. Oh my god. It felt a lot like that scene in Pulp Fiction where they accidentally blow the guy's brains out in the car. I was like, oh shit, I accidentally shot Ahmad in the face. And of course to Little Big 11, a regular here in the live stream. You rule, and I hope you have an awesome day. Coming back. My chair doesn't roll the same way backwards as he does forwards. So, let's head on into the game. This game is related to the last one because I think key point analysis is really useful in terms of just seeing simple changes have big effects. Not something like, all right, I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get like 8 more drones up early before this push because I have 3 more lanes, and then I'm going to try to work on harassment later on because this. Don't do too many changes. Focus on the key points. What was the key point we brought up last game? Well, we talked about TLO not exploiting the vulnerabilities of a player who opens air and goes for a fast third. We're going to see TLO do that in this game. Tassadar is going to early expand like a big old butt bag. Let's be honest, Zergs. What are Protosses who early expand? They're big butt bags because let's get a little creativity in there and go gateway first. Come on! I know how to deal with that. That's so much calmer and more straightforward unless your opponent is Naniwa, in which case it's a lot scarier, but still. All little butt baggy Protosses going for their early expands. Day 9, don't you mainly play Protoss? I'm a butt bag too, come on. Early expand going down for TLO. Again, there's the 3, I guess you could say the 4 paths that Protosses could go down. One would be huge gateway aggression. One would be huge, or not huge, but one would be air play. The other would be robo play, and the last would be Twilight Council play. 4 categories. And if you can do things like cross off air, then you know. Or if you can, see these geysers go down, then you cross off big gateway play. There's not going to be an 8-minute attack with big gateways, but there may very well be 10-minute attacks with Twilight Council or robo-based play. There may be an 8-minute air push. If I see nothing at 9 minutes, cool, I'm only worried about ground-based things. That's a very, very dense set of information. Feel free to rewind, unless you're watching live, in which case, I'm fucking sorry. I'm so sorry. Alright, cool. TLO doing standard timings. This should please every Zerg player. Double expanding. Getting the appropriate amount of queens up. TLO sneaks out a 4th one just to do a little bit of additional creep spreadage. And double gas at 6 minutes. Getting the Roach Warren and Evo Chamber up before 7. Very reasonable in most circumstances, but we did see the gas geyser, so we're probably not going to be up against early gateway aggression. We're unlikely to need this Roach Warren up this early. Very, very unlikely. Early Evolution Chamber, love it, because we get our plus-ups. So TLO is moving in here. This is so damn key. 8 minutes, we haven't seen anything. What the hell's up? He's either about to send air units at us, about to do a gateway attack, which we already crossed off because we saw some gas, and he appears to be teching. So we're basically wondering, are you going Air, Twilight, or Robo? That's our question. Those are the 3 possibilities left. Just sending that right in there. And of course, TLO looks like he's preemptively getting a Spore. Deals with Twilight tech, because Dark Templar is along the Twilight path, and deals with Air tech. Likely to be another Spore going down here, or just a movement of this one. So TLO works his way in, sees a Madaship Core, spotting for thirds, could be a fast third. Alright, that's looking a lot like a fast third. And then upon seeing this Phoenix, okay, our opponent definitely going for air. Definitely going for air. Now, in the midst of this, I want you to still not remove your analysis hats, because why? We're not playing it. We don't need to stress out on TLO's behalf. What happens if he's attacking us with air and going for a third? He can do annoying harassment, but he cannot deny bases, especially not once we have these Hydras up. And he's probably going to have trouble defending this base. It's not guaranteed that he will die, but he should be having some trouble with it. So here's this push, and here, what was that key point we talked about at the 11-minute mark? TLO didn't seem to be exploiting the vulnerabilities of a player going for a third. Not guaranteed to do damage, but it's still one of these things that Harasses are leaving very lightly defended. If for some reason we ran into too much defense, we just turn around. There's never going to be so much here that will be able to track us down. This guy went air and expanded. He's low on stuff. So even though Tempest look like mega badass bowlers, we have seen Tempest and an expand. There's almost no way that he can be doing much else. Unlikely for him to have Robo, unlikely for him to have advanced Twilight Council tech. I am pausing because I'm trying to find... We could have clicked easily on the Zealot to see that it was 0, 0, 0. However, there's no more ground units to check. We're getting a lot of good information as TLO. So at this point, what I'm thinking is, if he's low on Twilight tech, Robo tech, and likely just going for air, let me try to just blast him down before he gets to critical capacity. Because what is he really going to get air-wise? We've seen Tempest. We've seen Oracles. Carriers? I'm trying to go through the list in my head. We have some carrier tech would be possible. Void Ray tech. Some small amount of gateway units. Alright, we have a small amount of roaches to deal with small amount of gateway units. And then with the rest, we're just going Hydra Lane. I think this is brilliant. We even checked and noted that there was not a 4th base. Tempests start to move out, no big deal. I honestly would prefer an attack up and down like this. And that's exactly what TLO does. Counterattack is nice, but we have such a fast army, no problem. And we just blast down. He could have been continuing to build Tempests or going for carriers. Either way, the timing push works out real nicely. So, ta-da! Bum, 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 boom. While the attack's going on, smart play, expanding. This is, I think, really subtle why this is a good place to expand to. Because most of our army will be here, in the middle, so it can bounce from this location to this location, up to this location. That will be easy to defend from both air and ground. This is easy to defend against air, because, hell, it's hard for air to get there. But this is hard to defend from ground. What if a pylon warp in, got some units here, and we have our units in the middle? We'd need to cut really far back. Smart place to expand. Really, really, really like it. And then a quick, easy cleanup. Tech up to Hive, because, you know, upgrades, among other things. And last but not least, expanding here. Blocking the 4th. Denying the 3rd. Checking the other location. And guys, I'm not going to lie to you. Tempests are really not that good at dealing with counterattacks or Hydras. Alright, cool. Really easy key point analysis in my mind. We're just going to come right back to here. We're going to look at it both from the bad side and the good side. from the bad side, the key misstep in my eyes was simply the decision to go Tempests. Tempest will really not be able to keep this expansion alive. Why is that? Directly in the right now moment, these Tempests will probably prevent this expansion from dying. In the immediate right now, we probably will be able to stay alive against small Hydra Roach pushes. But it's the step after where we falter. With Tempest out, we cannot apply pressure to our opponent. With Tempest out, we've ruined our tech to Twilight and Robo. With Tempest out, the only reasonable thing we could do is go Carriers, because that's the tech path that we've completed. Right now, let me just look at this infrastructure. 3 gates, 2 Stargates, and no ability to apply any pressure, because the Tempest must stay home. The only thing that we could really do is expand. I think expand again is probably the only play that we have. And even then, as we just kind of sit here and watch, I mean, we just can't. We're impotent. We are an impotent Protoss. This is probably the worst place in the human universe to expand to right now. Holy crap. So just a series of inabilities to transition out. We got our gateways up. We began the Twilight Council tech. But I mean, look, we're at 15 minutes. TLO's maxed with 32 Hydras. Even if we did transition into Blink Stalkers, it would be weak. So that's the key moment in my eyes from the Protoss point of view, the key moment where he lost. TLO, I think the smart play is this. This is what I honestly think the big money play. Getting this Roach speed upon seeing our opponent go for an expand and hurl air at us. Roach speed will allow us to deal with this expansion. The Hydralisk count will allow us to protect this expansion. We're guaranteed 4 bases now, and it's almost guaranteed that we'll be able to do some damage. We can even do something where we position ourselves here and poke this way, and then when it looks like it won't work, poke up this way. Our opponent has committed a lot to this. So I think that this, combined with that, were the big money plays upon identifying the air. Oh, I'm sorry, in the Hydras. Hydra plus Roach speed plus 4th base. All gears up to do the attack. We didn't win right now. We certainly did some considerable damage. Our opponent has lost 175 energy on that mothership core. He is totally boned. Crystal clear. Let's go ahead and close the replay and pray that it doesn't crash. I pray to the gods of replay closing that it doesn't freeze my encoder, please. Ah, there was that glitch at the very end. Oh, crap. Crap, crud. Mega double butts. Alright. Baby Knight, Elfie, or Panda Tank? Give me some games. Give me some games. Give me Baby Knight, Panda Tank, Elfie. If any of you do not know Panda Tank, he is a famous South African player living in America. Really solid player and a jovial gent. Looks like Baby Knight was the choice. So let's go into the Baby Knight game where we will do another rapid fire analysis. It's looking more like we'll be able to do 4 games in today's daily rather than 5. I'm as rapid fire as I can. Game 4 between TLO and, the third game we'll look today between TLO and Baby Knight. This one is, even though it's one of the longer games, it's still going to be one of the easier games to do this. Analysisement. So you're seeing that these key moments can relate to our buildings, our strategic choices. Oh, excuse me, my mic's in the wrong place. They can relate to poor battle engagements, any number of things. TLO going pool first on a map that has some very annoying cannoning locations. Particularly here is a really annoying spot to cannon. Makes perfect sense why we'd want them Lings out right away. Coming to the TLO cam, he's, you know, checking out at the front. Identifying when this gateway finishes is quite important. 4:30 is generally a pretty early time. What? What? I don't... Oh yeah, I guess they did resume from replay stuff. Oh my god, you can do that? You can do that? Oh! You can do that! Oh my god, these clothes are getting removed because it's just gotten downright sexual. Okay, I know that you can resume from replay, but I didn't realize that it would branch off and append the new segment to the old replay to generate a new replay. Oh my god, features. Alright, not so rapid fire. Alright, a little after 6 minutes, standard timing to go for gas. If you've got a 4th queen, 6 minutes is the timing if you go for 3 queens. Roach Warren going down around 7:30, standard. Layer tech happening a little bit late, in my eyes. We've seen this thing go down. I would have preferred TLO to try to go for the more traditional 10 timing on the layer to be able to really kick into high gear. But upon seeing this base, I like the TLO goes just gas, gas, expand. This is great. All along the tech fronts. Very often players will go into autopilot, build a macro hatch, and that sort of thing, but, I mean, what? Our opponent can't do a damn thing. TLO also getting the upgrades, really smart, getting the Hydralisks out. Smart if we want that as our main composition. Bad if we are going for something like, you know, Infestor Broodlord or something along those lines. If it was Infestor Broodlord, we should definitely be going Ling Speed Infestation Pit. So, Baby Knight is doing one of these pushes that's like a brand new Heart of the Swarm push. We haven't looked much at Baby Knight's base. I'm actually going to briefly pause and just note that he is going for kind of a basic gateway tech with the forges plus the robo. I mean, these are the important buildings. Pretty typical defensive looking play. But look at this! An attack! Ooh! This kind of attack is cool because we can do that. He says. In this position, instantly the thought that's going through my mind as TLO, or at least should be, is I want to deny a 4th. I want to at least poke at the 3rd, see if there's anything that can be going on there. But then I want to be doing something. Denying the 4th and going for Hive. Denying the 4th and getting up a 5th base. Denying the 4th and doing something. So the fact that there's nothing here actually makes me want to rip my eyes out. Literally. I literally want to do that. Massing up the Hydralisk. Okay. Alright, great. There's the Roach going there. I mean, it is a reasoned statement that 99% of Protosses would not expand here. Doesn't matter. Completely irrelevant. Absolute essential to scout that. So TLO is once again doing his early Hive Tech push timing. You see in the production tab up here, 5 Vipers going down. This push makes a lot more sense in this game. In the last, in the White Raw game we saw, I didn't like this push because it doesn't appropriately exploit an air player. This appropriately exploits a robo-based player going for a 4th base. Very intelligent exploit here by TLO. Going to try to poke in and severely kill the shit out of a Protoss player who's relying on Colossus, among other things. Like that. This choice to get up a whole lot of High Templar, very much so a more Heart of the Swarmy thing, given all the feedback usage. But this transition to Ultralisk I think is interesting because I think a lot of people would be like, but Ultras are bad. Ultras are ideal in this circumstance. I think that's a reasonable transition at this point. Trying to go for Broodlords is another way of saying, alright, well, I'm not going to do anything for like 10 minutes. So do whatever you want for 10 minutes. And we'd probably lose to Warp Prism Harass. This Creep Tumor needs to be expanding this way, or Overlords need to be here to cover this. We need some Overlords on this side. Yada, yada, yada. Again, I think that Viper, Ultra, Hydra is an interesting potential composition. I'm not quite sold on it, but it's pretty clear that TLO's trying to make some neat niftiness work. Ultras obviously smash down all them. Force fields. The Hydras deal the damage, and the Vipers are protected behind the Ling Ultra wall, is the theory of it. However, buildings. Buildings, 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 schmildings, shillings, childings. I think that this repush was another one of these key critical, ever so slight missteps. I think that, yeah, I think there was close. It was something there. But I almost want to say at this point there needs to be a flop of TLO's game choice. Probably around 17 minutes. Changing it from destroy the fourth base to deny a fifth via counterattacks. So in this position, if I did say, oh, okay, I want to deny fifths, then I would immediately research drop Carapace and likely get a Nidus network, so that way I can drop here, making it harder to get a fifth. I can Nidus here, making it harder to defend a fifth. I would set up counterattacks. I wouldn't go into traditional Zerg Pansy mode and go, well, I'm now going to build 1,000 spine crawlers and hope that Broodlord Infestor is effective enough. Blinding Cloud plus Ultralisk, a potentially nifty thing. An attempted Hydra counterattack. You know, I'm not super sold on the kill the fourth plan, but TLO is doing a magnificent job of this plan regardless. Still, I'm still very much of the opinion drop Carapace for drops here. And this is actually one thing I do want to pause and note. I think it is critical to note how simple and logical that train of thought is. If our plan may very well change because we can't break the fourth. So we might say prevent fifths and just lock him down to 4 bases. He'll eventually be out of his third. He's likely running out in his main and his natural. So just lock him on the fourth and try to win like that. Therefore, and here's the logical steps, if he's trying to take a fifth here, doing drops over here or counters up here will be good. It's really simple. And the reason I'm saying that is because like 99% of folk I know would be like, but drops are bad against Protoss, or drops are not standard, or drops... I've never really seen drops happen at a pro level. I mean, like, just screw what's orthodox or standard or any of that stuff. It just makes sense here. I will note that if I pull back to here, we have a player who's like, this guy's like turtled harder than I Love Oov circa 2004, man. Baby Knight is turtled. Drops are awful against this. He has stalkers that are going to have blink soon. He'll be able to just joink, bounce around. But if we're late game and there's a fifth going down, then all of a sudden drops are good. It makes all the sense. Nidus Worm, fine. Nidus Worm is a different way to do drop-ish type things. It makes for an easier retreat path. But remember, just because something is unorthodox, or is not often seen, I should say, doesn't mean that it's incorrect. I think famously, Millennium's Gosu user played against MVP and freaking slaughtered him with drop play. He actually only took 1 drop with roaches and queens and just flattened him. Completely decimated him. Ding! Ding. So, yeah. Do it! See, I don't mind this plan to go, you know, for... I don't know what that was about. I have no idea what just happened there. But there is nothing wrong with going for all these Ultralisks, so long as there is the clear plan. The issue I have with this plan right now is that it's looking very much like deny the 5th. Deny the 5th, prevent the 5th, and all that stuff. So as I speed this up to X4 speed, the roaches are here, working to kill the 5th off. However, Greater Spire, slow transition to Broodlords will not deny any bases. They will permit bases. So there's almost a contradiction of plans. If we said, I want to break the 4th, therefore I will go Broodlords, that's one thing. But if we're getting into the, I'm trying to deny the 5th zone, I'm not. I'm just not the biggest fan. I'm really not the fan. All the things that you can do. So we have some blinding cloud, ultralisk funkiness going on, but some simple incorporation of Tempest shuts down TLO very badly because every unit in his entire force is massive and massively dead. This is not exactly denying the 5th because we killed the Nexus, yet our opponent has a complete stranglehold over the position of the 5th. And also, you know, a bunch of Archons getting morphed. So that's bad. TLO's gonna lose real soon here, so I'm just gonna speed it up. Speeding it up, speeding up the games in so many ways. Massive Hydralisk army, so cool. Look at all the Hydras! Yes, Hydralisk, some of the most powerful warriors from the original StarCraft 1 are all gonna die. Every game that's a loss for TLO ends in dead Hydralisks. Also, his main's dying. Like, real bad. This is pretty typical stuff. A long game, I still think relatively straightforward analysis of some key points. I'm going to come back to, let's go with this, just to sort of set the stage. I like this period for Zerg. 4th base, because we saw a 3rd base, and then something else. It could be a 4th base, and then a quick 5th. It could be a 4th base, and then a quick hive. Just 4th base plus something. Works out great. Works out great. I think that the issue I was having is this push on this base, I think was coming. It wasn't that it was necessarily late, but I think it came at the incorrect angle. I think that this was probably the we could have won it potential attack that should have come from a much wider arc. Because let's look at what happens when we're engaging it from this angle. We have a wide arc at this, but when we attempt to step in, we choke point ourselves. And I almost think that the transition to Ultralisks would not have been nearly as good as emphasizing Adrenalings and going Ling Roach, Hydra, Viper. For the purposes of killing off this 4th base. This is cool. We're obviously having some storm issues. Actually, I want to come back and watch that battle a little bit slower. Positioning's a little funky, getting a little clustered, a little stormable. I think this is a slightly awkward retreat angle for us. I kind of like the idea of pushing down like this, and he runs this way, and then we retreat right back up to where the rest of our units are. Because Protoss engaging comes up to this high ground area, I much liked this angle of approach more. But still, I think that that wasn't as terrible, but I still feel like that was one of those, like, sort of moments. But I would say that the key moment actually happened not in an engagement, but right around here. At this point in time, what is the plan? Almost all plans in my eyes revolve around bases. Are we trying to kill the 4th base? Are we trying to deny the 5th base? Are we trying to secure an extra base? I think that we're kind of done on the base securing front for a brief period. I think that perhaps we could take a 6th and go double gas and begin transitioning into more infestors. I think that would be great. If we wanted to decide to go for the I will kill off the 4th front, we can go for things like locusts. Where is it? Yeah. We could go for swarm hosts. That's one option. We could go for this continued Hydra Ultralisk Viper composition. That works great. But there needs to be a decision to it and to commit to it. Scout here, get drop, and get Carapace if it's deny the 5th. If it is assault the 4th, then we should obviously still put a dude there. And we should really gear up to do that attack. And, you know, rather than try to go through the moment, I still feel like that right around 1630 is where I started to be like, okay, well, how do we, and therefore you're gonna, like, this force is not one for map control and securing extra bases. This is like an I want to kill you force. Ultralisks are great for breaking things because they have the frenzied, I don't know if it's immune to stun, snare, and mind control effects. This is great for that burst to the front door sort of thing. So if we're doing this attack, another vital component would be a macro hatch or 2. Why is that? Because we want to have enough larvae to be able to replenish. Probably with Ling Ultralisk. Probably with Ling Ultralisks is what we'd end up reinforcing with. That would be the best break the front sort of schema. So this is great. That was awesome. Killed off all them Colossi. This push in, also great. Killing off all their Mothership cores. This next push, right here. Quite unnecessary. I think that this was a huge, blunderous blunder. For a number of reasons. That was probably the biggest one. We were low on energy on all the Vipers. We didn't have any blinding clouds down anymore. Really no need to do this. Kind of fallen behind there a little bit, but we could have been quite comfortably in a good spot. But again, if we had some macro hatches, look at this force. Look at the production at the backside. Flooding that with Ultraling to break would be good. But still, I'm sort of looking at this and I'm just like, okay, are we attacking? Yeah, okay, this is a lot stronger of a moment. Are we trying to deny a 5th? Are we trying to attack? We're sort of going in a lot of different directions. We have this Ultralisk Hydralisk force, and we're taking this expansion. I think that that's reasonable. But then this, I really think that that was the big killer. I don't think that this is really contributing to our cause so much. If we didn't take this, and we were denying this base, and we were slowly spine crawlering up, and we were slowly incorporating more infestors into our mix rather than Ultralisks, then I can really see this. But what we're doing with our expansions, what our armies are doing, this attack just funked me the hell out. This, though, is a weird attack. I don't think is a critical moment. I just don't think that this is one of these like, oh yeah, TLO clearly screwed himself with this attack. I think that's being represented by this right here. Because we're still, you see, we're still in this weird limbo where we're not quite committing to it. I don't know. I'm done analyzing that game. We're gonna go to a break. When we come back, it's gonna be part damn 3, and then after that, AHGL. Yeah.